Welcome back, guys, to World of Tanks, to another tank review, this time of the T57 Heavy, the Tier 10 American heavy tank, the autoloader. We're comparing it here to the MX-50B, the French autoloader, and the Kranwagen, the Swedish autoloader. Let's start by looking at some of the stats so we can compare the DPM of those three tanks. The T57 is just way ahead with over 3,200 base DPM. It's got an excellent penetration of 258, and the same as the other three, the other two, it does 400 damage a shot, so a potential of 1600 per clip with its 4 clips. And the reload time is absolutely amazing, 23.97 seconds, and that's base, so you can get that up fairly easily. It's got a potential damage total of 14,400, beg your pardon, which isn't quite as much as the MX-50B, but then again, when will you ever do 22,000 damage? Now, the gun handling isn't as good as the 50B or the Kranwagen, but it sort of feels better, I think, than the Kranwagen. I sort of felt the Kranwagen had some weird gun handling. Anyway, they're both, all three of them are basically the same when it comes to dispersion. The aim time is slightly worse on the T57 Heavy, and especially when moving and traversing. When it comes to the gun depression, obviously the Kranwagen has the absolute best of 12 degrees, but even the T57 Heavy has 8 degrees, which is fairly good compared to some of the other heavies around. When it comes to mobility, it obviously lags far behind the MX-50B, and even the Kranwagen is fairly fast. It's got some weird and wonky terrain resistances, but there you go. Quickly moving on to the hull armor and turret, we'll look at that in a second. And quite interesting, the view range is 400 meters, so you'll easily boost that to the maximum view range if you wanted to. Now let's look at the armor profile. So first of all, the hull is basically the same as the E5. Yeah, I think it's slightly weaker, but once again, you've got this sort of ring in the front here, where you can get some amazing values out of this. Then you've got a fairly weak lower plate, and you've got a very strong upper plate with some, again, wonky values of 400 and upwards. I mean, 500, who needs that? And then you've got this very strange turret. You can get some easy shots here with 160 penetration, and then you can get some, what was that, here we go, 310. And because this turret just, it looks so strange, it's armored and sloped at weird angles, you can get some easy pens like this one. I mean, even Tier 7 tanks can pen that. And then you've got weird values like 290 and 400 and whatever I showed you before, where you just can't penetrate for anything. Anyway, the roof is fairly weak, but I don't think you'll ever penetrate that up there. I haven't even tried, but I wouldn't recommend it. If you have the T57 frontal, just shoot it here in these sort of cheek areas, very close to the, well, it's not a gun mantlet, is it? But anyway. Now when we come to the side, I mean, it doesn't really have any tracks to speak of. I mean, it's what, like 60-70 side armor plus 20 spaced armor, so you'll just pen it every time. Now, the only points you'll probably bounce is this sort of front part of the turret. Again, if it's angled, I mean, here we go, 430. I mean, what the hell? And the rear of the turret is very weak. There we go. And obviously from the back, it's absolute cheese. As any American heavy, you will know, if you just run up behind it, you can pen it with HE easily. So enough about the stats, let's get into a replay. Okay guys, so here we are on Overlord, and we're actually in game with one of our clan who's playing in the VK 4502B. Now this is a pretty, well, standard, I'd say, tier 10 game. There's no artillery, thank God for that, and we're pretty much balanced when it comes to tank destroyers. So we're going to take our T57, try to get as much damage in fairly early on with the sort of first clips. That's what we want to do. And choosing this, I think choosing an Overlord is quite difficult. I mean, I don't really know where to go because it's sort of, you all meet in one line. It's all happening on the sort of EF line. And there's no real maneuvering, I think. Anyway, let's see what we've got here. There's a Death Star. Don't really want to go up against him. There we go, he's pushing ahead. So maybe if he pops a shot into the IS-3, for example, then we might be able to deal quite the significant amount of damage to him. There we go, he fired. Now's our chance to pop up. One into the lower plate, 2, 3, and 4, and we leave him on 5 health. Oh no. Already got in 1,593 damage with the first clip, so we just rolled low. If we'd actually rolled normally, then we could have gotten him. But anyway, no sense crying. We did get a hell of a lot of damage in, and our next target seems to be this Lerva. Hopefully there's no tank destroyers in the background, and he just fired. So come on, push up. There we go. 1, 2, 3, and the fourth one bounces? What? That was strange. But anyway, the E4 gets him, and we've already done nearly 3,000 damage. So as you can see, we're not even 3 minutes into the game, and already we've racked up more damage than most people do in a complete game. So who's next? It's probably that Patton. That was a crappy shot. I don't know where that went. And we're going for the Leopard 1. Yeah, going for him was good. He was the Death Star got taken out by the IS-7. That was lucky for us. And now we've got everyone flanked here. We can get off some easy shots on the T10 and the Leopard. If we hit him, that is, because Russia biatch. And again, if we hadn't bounced, we could have gotten that one in. Now our E4 is leaving us to be flanked. And the Tiger bounces on some of these weird angles of our turret, and now we can clip him easily. There we go. Another tank out of the game, and we're on 6,000 damage already. Missed that one, but that wasn't the best shot ever. We could have gone for the Yag Tiger here. And still more than half of the enemy team alive, so there's still some damage to be had. There we go, that's the Mutz taken care of. No idea where that shot went. And that's the Yag Tiger taken care of, and we're already on 7,000 damage. Now if the TVP T50-51 doesn't take us out, and he won't, and there's not really much we have to fear here. As you can see, for connector already clicked 2, so just in case, if we for example have to reload after firing only 3 shots, it won't load into that one single shot of AP, which obviously would be quite annoying. Track the IS-7. And that was probably the worst clip of our game yet, only 400 damage in. Now we're on one-shot range for everything, so we do need to be quite careful now. Up until now we were just driving around like a madman. There we go, that's our clanmate, and he's taking some of the heat. Now we're going to give them some heat. There we go, 3 into the IS-7, we're on 8,000 damage. The Batchat seems to be flanking from somewhere, no idea why, where. And he shot the our clanmate in the VKB. There we go, and that's the Batchat on the other side of the map, so we can take care of the Scorpion G. And he just fired, so this should be an easy shot. And there we go, that's our 6th kill. So guys, here's our Mastery Class badge for the T57 Heavy. We got a Top Gun and we got a High Caliber for doing 8,201 damage, which is absolutely fantastic. We got 1,367 base experience. And even after shooting 4, I think it was, heat shells, we made 32,000 credits. So what is my verdict on the T57 Heavy? Well, obviously it's an absolute beast of a tank. Standing here on the top of this quite noob-friendly line, I would say. It starts at tier 5, I'd say, with the M7. The M7 is an excellent tank, quite versatile for beginners. The T21 is one of the weaker tanks, one of the weaker tier 6 light tanks that is, and the T71 has suffered from power creep in recent months and years, but the T69 is an excellent medium, and the T54E1 also dishes out quite a bit of damage. Now the other route, the Chaffee T37, M41 Bulldog and T49, is quite a fun route, but you need to be a really good player to really get the maximum out of these tanks. But all of them lead up to the T57 Heavy, quite the expensive tank, but an absolute beast, dishing out so much damage it can absolutely wreck enemies in a very short amount of time. It is an excellent support tank, and it can even support some pushes on its own. So guys, do get that T57 Heavy, it is brilliant. I do hope you liked this replay, this review even, and click that subscribe and like button, it really helps the channel out, and I'll see you on the next one.